All right, so I'm Daniel with Powell Machine Incorporated, and this is my wife, Alicia. She's my,
You want me? Hi.
she's my wife right now. She's my future ex-wife. Not really, just joking. Okay, so a bunch of people's been asking, like, basically for an origin video, a lot of like background questions we get just on almost every video. So we've been trying to put this together for a while, and we got a list of questions that some of you recommended and some we come up with to just try to tell the story from how this thing started to how we got where we at now. So my wife is going to ask all the questions, and I'm going to try to answer some of them. So stay with us and we'll get this thing underway. Yep. So I think we got like 20 questions. I think we got like roughly 20 questions right now. And I think what we're going to do is see how far we get through these set of questions. And then once we're done, y'all may have some feedback in the comment section. And then possibly we may do a second part, third part. We'll just play it by ear and see how it goes. You got anything you want to add before we start?
Gonna put you on the chopping block.
Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. Can we put Andrew on the chopping block too?
We might put him on there.
Andrew's hiding over here in the corner. He's the
tech guy, cameraman.
What do you call it? What's the word for the guy that does all this? He's got a name like the videographer.
Andrew's behind the scenes. He'll do all the editing and he helps set it all up. So we may sneak a peek in at him here.
Well,
but anyway, so
all right,
we'll go ahead and get started. So first question: where were you born and raised?
So I was born right here. I ain't never been nowhere but where I'm at right now, and
which is
the wonderful town of Iva, South Carolina.
IVA.
IVA, yeah, Ivor. We put an R on it sometimes when we extra redneck. But yeah, I've been here my whole entire life. Ain't never been anywhere else.
We have 2 stoplights now.
No, do we got 2
Yeah, we
more?
have 2. We have 2 stoplights.
I thought they took the one down at the bank. Where's another one?
Oh wait, yeah, we only
just got one.
Just have one.
Got one now.
One stoplight. Yep. We were demoted a little bit.
Yep.
We have a Subway, a Burger King, Dollar General, Family Dollar.
Yeah, it's a super small town.
Yeah.
The next big town up the road, Anderson, that's where, most everybody goes for, there's Lowe's, Home Depot, big grocery stores, all that kind of stuff up there. But it's only like 25 minutes up the road, so it ain't bad.
Yeah. We enjoy being here.
Absolutely.
Instead of the big city. So, so did your father or your grandpa, were they a machinist?
Nope. So my grandpa, who pretty much raised me, he was he weaved cloth at the cotton mill here in town, and he never really done any. I'm not aware that he done any real mechanical stuff. My daddy was he worked construction, and he did I don't exactly know all what they done, but they would build on big construction sites, commercial buildings, and pipe fitting, pipe welding, that kind of stuff. But I don't really know all what he done. But now I did have a great grandfather on my grandma's side. He was an iron worker, and they done all kind of iron work. We got a picture somewhere, and I'm standing in his truck, and you can see the name of his company. So I don't remember, something Iron Works on the door. I'll see if we can find that picture.
Next question. So what got you interested in cars?
I don't know. I had tons of Hot Wheels when I was a kid. We had the whole big fold out thing, and just that kind of stuff. And I guess I don't know that anybody in my family ever watched any racing that I remember, but when it really, I think when it really hit was maybe, I had a go-kart early on. My grandma bought me a go-kart one year for Christmas or something, and we was forever, trying to hot rod the go-kart, running up and down the road, acting stupid. And I remember in middle school, and I mean, I had some dirt bike. I had a dirt bike, and I had a go-kart, and some of my friends had, like, back then it was three-wheelers. They wasn't no four-wheelers back then. But I remember a guy, I don't know if it was his daddy or brother or cousin, but I remember he had a big yellow hot rod. I want to say it was like a Charger or something, and it had old big slot mags on it and glass packs and a cam. And I just remember looking at that thing, and I was like, man, that's a hot rod. But it wasn't nothing, in real life. But back then, it we thought that was something back in. So, but yeah, early on, we was fooling with stuff, and I enjoyed that kind of stuff. So
then I guess we'd go to what was your first hot rod?
I guess out of Monte Carlo. So my grandpapa had a 77 Monte Carlo, and it was a 350 4-barrel turbo 350 automatic, and it was just a stock deal. It was their everyday car, and at some point, and I don't remember when, but they bought a new car, and that old Monte Carlo sat out back for it just sat there. They didn't do nothing with it, and I begged him. I didn't quite have my permit yet, but I was getting close, and I kept after him about would he sell it to me or give it to me. And after I don't know 6 or 8 months of me worrying him to death, he finally said that he'd. I don't remember how that went down, but I ended up with it anyway, and so we had to back in. It was PAW catalog, Performance Automotive Warehouse, I think it was. And so, of course, first thing before I even had my permit, I done ordered me a chrome kit and got me some valve covers and an air cleaner. Boy, I was high cotton. I had some chrome valve covers on that thing.
So how old were you when you first opened up? Well, when you opened up your first shop?
So we opened the shop in.
Not this shop.
Oh yeah, we opened remember the old shop. We opened the old shop in '96. So let's see how that was. My great grandfather had I guess it was like a grocery store.
That's what they always said it was.
So it was a small building. It was 24 by 36.
Cement block
building. And some kind of way, I don't remember how, but my grandmother that raised me bought it, ended up with it some kind of way. I don't remember how. So she rented it to me. And we fixed it up, painted it, and put a roll-up door in the back and all that stuff. And we opened the shop in '96. And at the time, of course, I wanted to be doing hot rod stuff, but we were just doing general mechanic work, brakes, tune-ups. We'd do motor swaps, transmission jobs.
Your specialty back then, though, was rear ends.
Yeah, we did a lot of rear ends. We had like general mechanic shops all over that would bring us differential work. I set up a lot of ring pinions, race cars, off-road stuff, but even just general road vehicles, because back then you seen a lot like that was the era of the gov locks in the GM rear ends, and the gov lock would break and then it would destroy the whole ring pinion and tear it up. So we'd swap them out with you know, like a Auburn or a Eaton, some kind of clutch type positive traction and new gears and stuff. But yeah, that was a big part of the business for a really long time. Yeah.
So what do you think your biggest ups and downs were in the beginning?
Ups. I don't know. I mean, I guess. Man, that's just a hard question. I don't know. I should have thought about that a little more. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the.
Well, I think maybe one of the biggest ups is, you know, you're your own boss. You know, we don't answer to anybody but ourselves, and it opened the gate that we could work for ourselves and that we didn't have to work for anybody. Because in the beginning, you know, him with the first shop, he was working a
Full-time,
7 to 3
yeah.
job at a mill. What is it? Cotton plant.
Well, yeah, Star Mill. They make cloth.
So working full time and then coming and working, and he would stay out there at the other shop till 11 o'clock at night. And if I ever wanted to see him, that's where I would have to see him at, because he was always working. Daniel has a really good work ethic. He's always working, always trying to be, you know, make the business bigger and better. And so I think that would be one of the ups, is that, you know, it was hard for him in the beginning, you know, working 2 jobs, and then sometimes the shop wouldn't do so good and he'd have to go and work somewhere else for somebody. He was never happy doing that, and just eventually came to just doing it full time. And of course, you know, an up for me is, you know, I was a stay-at-home mom up until the kids got older, so then that allowed me to be out here to work with him more. So, you know, we work with each other. We don't have to work for anybody else. So, I don't know what you would say.
And I mean, that could be at the same time, just because you're always trying to make the business go. The goal is to make the business go, but a lot of people don't realize, you know, a lot of people look from the outside in and just assume because, you know, we have X, Y, or Z, or we do this, or we built this, you know, super fast, whatever, that we just rolling in money and everything's easy, and it's just not that way. And I think, I mean, again, I don't know, but I talk to other shops and they struggle in the same way, that it's all a balancing act to try to spend time with your family, make the business profitable, and, you know, have time for the customers. And
that's that I guess that would be one of the downsides of working for yourself. You know, it's hard when you work for yourself because you have to do everything for yourself, and
yep, nobody's coming to help you.
You know, and for me, you know, I'm still, you know, a stay-at-home mom too. So, you know, there's kids' appointments, kids' activities.
Yep.
You know, my appointments. There's just things going on all the time. So, I mean, it can be stressful because I know, you know, customers can call and, you know, they may not get us when they need to, or, you know, it may take us a few days to get back. But, you know, it's just us, and we're, you know, we try to do the best we can, but it is one of the downfalls of having your own business. There's good and bad. So,
absolutely.
That would be one of them. So how did you learn about CNC machining?
So the same way I learned about everything else, I decided, I guess that was in 2001, we have been toying with the idea of CNC stuff, and we were manufacturing having some products manufactured and building some stuff and selling it with the manufactured product, and we just couldn't get anybody to make it properly. It just, we'd get it made, it come in, we'd QC it, and bolt holes are wrong size, bolt holes in the wrong place. I mean, it's just something all the time. And I'm like, this is just crazy how you can't get anybody to do anything right. And so people think that that's a problem now, but it was a problem 25 years ago. So it's not a new problem really in real life. So we looked around and we found a machining center that was relatively affordable, and luckily I had been saving for that purchase, but I hadn't found a machine yet. So we found a machine, we made a gentleman's agreement, and we bought it and put it in, and I couldn't even spell CNC. So I got the book, it's like this thick, and I read the book for 3 or 4 days. And then I'd play with the machine and try to make it do something, and I'd read the book some more.
So you didn't have any formal
Zero
training or schooling
as a matter of fact,
or anything?
the guy that I bought it from didn't even really know how to use it either, and that's one reason I got it so cheap. But and I don't, I ain't proud of it, but so I only made it to the 8th grade, and I went to the 9th, but I didn't graduate, and I quit in the 9th grade, and I never went and got any other schooling. So I've had zero training to do anything. I did get a little bit of schooling after, when I worked for the county. I was a diesel mechanic for the county for a while, and we got some training related to that job, some hydraulic stuff and some
you got some certifications.
Some certifications, Allison transmissions and Hale fire pumps, and then we took a big course on E1 ladder trucks because they got massive amounts of hydraulics and safeties and all kind of crap, so we had to go to Ocala and do that. But I think some of that stuff translates, and it was good information. But outside of that, as far as machining and all of that junk, it's funny. When the economy when was that? When the economy crashed in like 08-ish, somewhere along in there. Anyway, a company over the line in Georgia was hunting a machinist, and it was really slow. I mean, like really, really slow. But we still had the shop, and luckily we didn't know anybody, nothing. So it wasn't like, if we wasn't there, nothing happened. The building was ours, the equipment was ours. So I took a job at a shop running a big, huge CNC mill, and I didn't even really know how, but I bluffed my way in. I told them I knew how to do it, but I didn't know. I just told them some crap because I knew the job, And so luckily, nobody there knew how to run it either. So it was easy to bluff them. So I made it. I figured out how to cut it on, And they had these big old weldments that needed to be faced off. So I got them bolted down, and I understood about machining at that time, but I just didn't know about CNCs. So I figured out how to make that thing jog manually. And so I was over there milling them big old weldments, and the boss man come by, he's like, "Oh man, you got that thing running, that's good." I'm over there jogging it manual, and so it took me, I don't know, probably a week. And I figured out how to run that thing, and then I had it humping in, and it was all good. So they never knew that I didn't know, and so it just kind of come. I had learned a little bit on the CNC that I had bought. I learned a little bit on it, and then I was studying, and when I took that job, I found the book for the machine, so I just took the book home, and every night I'm reading that sucker trying to figure out, but it worked out, and I can say that job, luckily, I learned a lot because nobody bothered me. Nobody else knew how to do that work. So they left me alone, and I was able to just stay at it and run that thing. And then later on, they bought me a brand new CNC turning center, and I had never done any CNC lathe work at that time. And so I was able to have a brand new machine And they come down and give us like a day of training, and the guy showed me some basic stuff on it, and it wasn't long. I mean, we was pumping parts out, so that was really a good experience in the grand scheme of things, because I didn't have any CNC lathe experience, and I was able to take that and run with it and learn how to use it on a nice new machine. And then when I left there, I was able to take that knowledge with me, and it was a really good deal. I mean, they benefited, I benefited, everybody benefited.
So let's talk a little bit about the equipment now, as far as like the types of equipment that we have in the shop, and also, do you own the equipment? Are you leasing the equipment?
Yep. So I think if you've watched any of my videos long enough, you've seen most of the equipment, I think. But we have we'll just start with the CNC stuff. We have a Daewoo Puma 8HC turning center. It's like an 8-inch chuck, 14-inch swing, I think. We got a Bridgeport Interact machining center, which is, a lot of people don't, I mean, they don't make them anymore, but it's about the size of a VF1 Haas. I've got and you see it in a lot of videos, I balance on it a lot, the Prototrack. It's a boxway knee mill with 2-axis CNC, and it's a really good piece. If you just need to do a little something quick, it's a really, really good machine. And then I've got a Haas VF3 down in the other shop, and that's all the CNC equipment. And then in the automotive side, we've got the a Quickway flywheel grinder. We got an Amco brake lathe. We've got our Serv-Equip line hone. We've got our RMC10 surfacer that we do heads and blocks in. We got the Sun and CK10 cylinder hone. We've got our Quickway 048 boring table with a Quickway FN boring bar. And then the Van Norman 253 cam grinder. I got a Surdy 100 seat and guide machine. And I got a big Clausen 17-inch lathe. It's 100 inches between centers with a 12-inch chuck. I got a Winona Van Norman seat and guide machine. I've got a Dual 30-inch surface grinder. And then, what else? And there's some supporting equipment. I mean, I got a cap grinder and a ring file and the belt sander and a sun and rod hone. And there's I got another knee mill just like the Prototrack, except it's all manual. It's not CNC. And I'm going to actually, when we finish this edition, I'm going to set that mill up with the balancer all the time. The balancer is going to have a dedicated milling machine for it, so I don't have to take it on and off. And we got our standard cleaning equipment. We got a Better Engineering spray washer, and
we got a hose pipe.
We got a hose pipe. Definitely got 2 hose pipes. And we got a old homemade hot tank that it's got caustic in it, and I don't know, is there anything else down? In the other shop, we got a lot of fab stuff. We used to do a lot of fab work. I got a tubing bender, a ring roller, a TIG, a MIG. I got 2 MIGs. And we used to have a sheet metal brake, but a big hydraulic sheet metal brake, but I sold it. So I think
what do you owe on all this?
$0. I paid for every piece of it. The only thing that we financed in this whole entire building was the CNC lathe. We didn't finance anything else, did we? I did a long time ago. I had a huge crank grinder that we financed, but I sold it after when we started grinding cams. But yes, so like I was saying, we only financed the turning center, and everything else we just saved up and just paid for it as we went. And that might be not a good thing to do. I can't say. I just know how we done it. I see I see other shops that go out and buy $1 million worth of equipment on credit, and I don't know how they do it. They buy $1 million worth of equipment on credit, and then they rent in a building that they pay in $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 a month for.
And that's another thing. We own our own building. We don't.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know how. If we had to pay $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 a month for our building and equipment payments, I'd just sell everything and go to work at Burger King, because there ain't no way we'd ever make no money. There's just, I don't know how people make money doing that. And I guess those people have a bunch of employees and they're just churning out tons of work, and maybe they just have enough volume to be able to, that makes sense, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, but I just feel like they're not making any more money than I am. Even though they're turning more money, they ain't putting any of it in their pocket. It just seems like, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's the way we decided that it was the best way to do. I mean, my grandma, she always told me a long time ago when I was little, if you didn't have it in your pocket, don't buy it. If you didn't have the money in your pocket, don't buy it. So that was always just how things were done where I'm from. So whatever that's worth.
So what's the favorite job what's one of the favorite things that you like doing in the shop?
I mean, I guess in this building, I really like doing CNC stuff. I really like doing CNC stuff, and I like doing manual machine work, like industrial type manual machine work. I enjoy doing that a lot too. But probably on the automotive side, my favorite thing is cam grinding. I mean, I really love cam grinding. I think it's neat, I guess, and too, because it was something that people told me that I'd never be able to do it. And every time I make a cam, I just snub my nose up at them and keep on rocking. So I really enjoy the cam grinder.
So any mistakes or regrets along the way?
Definitely got some regrets. I would say the number one regret is I was scared to death to move forward. I was just doing whatever, like just mechanic type work, and I wanted to be doing this, but the whole world said I couldn't, and I just didn't do it. And I wish that I'd have started. Looking back, I wished I'd have bought CNCs immediately, like as soon as I possibly could have. And I wish I'd have bought all this machining equipment as soon as possible instead of waiting, because I just bought a little piece here, and a few years later I'd buy another piece, and it took a really long time, and I shouldn't have done it that way. I should have got after it a lot sooner.
So let's shift a little bit to your personal life.
Yeah, personal.
Hope you don't have a personal life.
Well, my girlfriend. Well, we're not gonna talk about her. Okay.
Well, we'll just talk about your wife. Okay. So let's talk about how we met.
Mm-hmm. So.
Do you even know?
I do. I remember.
We were just babes.
So you mean like the first time, like when we?
Well, I guess maybe how old were we when we?
Well, I mean, like, I guess it would make sense to just talk about when we, as adults, when we started, when you started, want me to be your boyfriend kind of stuff.
Okay.
So that's when I was working for at the time, your brother-in-law, and he was, a car restorer kind of deal, sort of. And so I was mechanicing for him, and so her sister was his wife, and so she'd come by sometimes.
Well, he was working on my dad's truck.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
My dad,
Yeah.
it was a 60-something.
It was old Dodge.
Yeah, it was old Dodge truck.
Well, it wasn't a Little Red Express.
No,
it was
just
that.
a Dodge.
Yeah, it was.
Just a Dodge truck.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
he
in the
did
'60s.
engine
Yeah, I can't remember, but it had old slant six in it, didn't it? I think it had old slant six in it. But yeah, so I remember that now.
So I would go over there to visit my sister.
She was actually going over there to see me.
No,
That's exactly.
No. I actually knew his mom and his brother before I even knew Daniel, because Daniel's 5 years older than me. So I actually knew them before I knew Daniel. But if I would go and visit my sister, he would happen to be there, and so he noticed me one day and asked my mom if he could ask me out. So
yeah.
But I was 15 and he was 20, and we've been together ever since. 27. No, wait. I think it's fixing to be.
How old are you? How many years younger are you again?
Yeah, I'm 44, so I think it's 29 years that we've been together, right?
I guess.
Since 95.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I'm fixing to be 50,
yeah,
so that's not, yeah. I mean, that's right there.
Almost 30 years
Yep,
that we've been together.
Years, yeah.
And so how many kids do we have?
We got 3 that we know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, all I have is 3. I don't know how many he has, but all I have is 3. But we have 3 boys. Of course, Andrew's our oldest. He's 18, and then we have a 14-year-old boy, and then we have a 12-year-old boy.
Mm-hmm.
So then that kind of goes into the next question of, what are the dynamics like here in the shop? Daniel and Andrew and I pretty much are the only ones in the shop. The other 2 do not really want to step foot into the shop because they're afraid that if they come into the shop, Daddy's going to put them to work. So they stay away unless it's a food emergency. If Mama needs to fix them something to eat. Other than that, they stay away. So it's just Daniel and Andrew and I in the shop 100% of the time. So how does Andrew feel about working with his dad? And Andrew's here,
You in there, boy?
I don't think he is. It's Friday. He went to ride his mini bike.
Yeah.
You don't get him to do anything past 5 o'clock. So it's mini bike time. But he I think, Andrew's here full time, Monday through Friday, and he's a good worker. He does Daniel can ask him to do something. Andrew does not. He might complain, but he ain't gonna complain to his daddy. He'll come and complain to his mommy, but not to his daddy. But he's a very good worker.
He's a good worker. He's a good worker.
Yeah,
he tries hard. He does.
Yeah. Andrew needs a lot of credit as far as the behind the scenes of these videos and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Daniel and I are not tech savvy, and,
Nope.
and Andrew is, and this is just right up his alley. But he's a good kid. He's a good worker. He doesn't complain. So yeah, I mean we all get along pretty good as far as
So when you get out of line.
Daniel and I have to put the phone on mute sometimes if a customer calls, and I have to pick up, and I'm really nice to them, but I was
what happens sometimes is I'm over here grinding and she's trying to ask me something and I'm hollering. But I ain't hollering to be ugly. I'm hollering because I'm over there grinding and she's over there trying to ask me something.
I told him we need an intercom system, but usually I'll just end up texting him if it becomes one of those,
Yeah, because I can't hear no way half the time. So yeah. So if you hear me hollering in the background, it's just because I'm just trying to let her hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I mean, we get along pretty good for the most part,
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
And Daniel and I we're together. Gosh, 24 hours a day, really. I mean,
oh yeah,
we get up, go to the gym every day, and then we come home and we go to the shop. As soon as we get home, we go to the shop. We have lunch together. Then we're back at the shop, and then, you know, we leave at 5 o'clock, and, you know, we're together then. So, I mean, it's very rare that you see Daniel and I not together. So, I mean, we get along pretty good for the most part, and that says a lot because, you know, there's a lot of couples who cannot work with each other, and that's what I told him too. You know, you have to be a special person to want to work with Daniel because
what are you trying to say?
because, you know, Daniel's very particular, and I don't know if they're, you know, if you guys realize that, but he's very particular. You know, he takes pride in his work, and
Well, it's got to be right.
Yeah.
It's got to be right, and it's got to be my way. I mean, my
and
way.
that's one of the reasons why it's just us three and not anybody else out here, because, you know, we stand behind our work, and we don't want our work to
Yeah,
be
somebody else's work misrepresent what we're trying to do. And the biggest thing is most people just don't care. They don't take any pride in their work. It's just a job, and they want a paycheck, and that's just not what we're
and
about.
we've tried employees, you know, but it just does not
They
work
just don't
out.
produce good work.
Yeah.
Well, most of them don't even know how to do the work, and the ones that do, they just take shortcuts, and it's just not good. And I can't find anybody that thinks like I do as far as quality, and like we eat. I mean, well, maybe not them, but me. I mean, I eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff, and I want it to be like 100%. And you know, I might not have the ability to do it 100%, but I'm going to do it all the way to the best ability of the equipment that I own. And other people, I mean, other shops do that, I'm sure, but the people we've tried to hire don't do that. So that's a problem in itself.
Somebody had asked if you had any military training.
No, I tried to join early on, but they wouldn't take me. I had.
He was too mean for them.
Yeah, too many. I got flat feet, and I had back trouble, and they just they wouldn't take me. They might, well, they won't now. I'm too old, but later on they might would have took me. But my neighbor, we was really good friends growing up, side by side, he joined, and then I tried to join with him, and you know, but it didn't work out. But anyway.
So, well, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
For money, I guess I could sell.
No.
So if I wasn't machining, I think that I would enjoy. Now that we've done YouTube, like I was terrified of YouTube, but now that we've done YouTube, if I wasn't doing engine machine work, I think that I would do some kind of maybe technical videos for some company or something, or I think that I would enjoy being a sales rep / tech guy for, you know, something in the automotive industry. I think I would enjoy that, because I like that, especially if I could travel. Because now, I used to not, but now I like to travel. So I think I would enjoy traveling and doing something like that if I wasn't doing this.
Well, that pretty much is all the questions that I have. And of course, you know, there may be some that you guys think of, and there, you know,
Yep.
so we may do like a part 2, you know, just kind of build on to what we already started, but we just try to
Hit the high spots.
Yeah,
hit the
so,
high.
you know.
So if you got other stuff, try to be specific as possible. But if you got other questions, put them in the comments. And if this does good, we'll try to do a part 2. But, you know, I mean, pretty much, I mean, we're an open book, so whatever questions you got, if we can answer them, we're more than happy to. So just put them in the comments. And again, we appreciate all the support on YouTube. It's been absolutely amazing. Don't forget about the camshaft giveaway video. We got to get to 10,000 likes. I mean, all you got to do is mash the like button. And when we get 10,000 of them, we're going to give away a camshaft and a set of lifters. So I feel like, you know, a $800 or $1,000 cam kit is worth 10,000 likes. So, you know, if you like this kind of content, share it, like it, save it, and show it to your friends. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you on the next video.